fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What?
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of the Gamers Council. I'm your host, WEBDAVE, along with my co-host, returning co-host, Hargeet Chani. Hargeet, welcome, sir.
Hey, it's good to be back.
It's great to have you, man. Sorely missed. And of course, we have the one and only, the man who, without him, I wouldn't be here, Mr. Boomstick XL. Boom, how you doing, sir?
You don't give yourself enough credit, kind sir. But thank you so much for the very nice words. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's been a long time coming, folks. Normally weekends I don't do podcasts, but when Dave asks, I only have to tip the mohawk and join. So there you go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. And yes, Joey was going to be here, but unfortunately, he had some family things pop up last minute. So Joey is not going to be here today. He says he will make it up to me. Mwahaha. Which means we'll get him on another episode. So no worries, folks. He will be here in another episode. But yeah, little Joey is not going to be able. Is somebody put in the chat? Where's little Joey? Little Joey's not going to make it tonight, but that's okay. It's a family thing, and family comes first. We all go by that mantra. So guys, wow. I guess we'll go around the horn tonight and find out what you guys have been playing. Mr. Boomstick, let's start with you. What have you been playing, or what have you been watching? What's got your interest this week?
Two things. I am patiently awaiting to go back into Avowed. I have nearly 6 days of play. I have beaten it once. I only have a little bit more than half, like almost 600 of the gamer score. I want to get all 1,000. I'm waiting for the new game plus, so I kind of put that down, and I went right back to Call of Duty. And as you can see moments ago, I just put down Stakeout plus Shoddy equals best play because I was decimating people. And it's crazy that this old man who's going to be 55 in September can still hang with these kids and whoop their ass. It's liberating, to be quite honest with you. So I'm doing that. I also caught up with Daredevil Born Again. Wow. I mean, wow. It's if you like the Netflix series with Daredevil, my God, please watch this. And I just saw with my nephew and his dad Captain America: A Brave New World and loved every freaking second of that film. I don't understand the hate, but I got to tell you, Mackie, great Captain America. Very, very happy with the way they're taking the direction of the series, and thought it was an amazing film. But yeah, that's about it.
That sounds like pretty good for me. I'm pretty excited about that. That's with you on that. Daredevil, haven't watched it yet. Getting ready for the I got a whole week's worth of trainings. I had a lot of things I had to get taken care of. So, but it'll still be there when I get back. So that's definitely something it's on the radar to watch for sure. Love Daredevil. I even bought the series when it came out for streaming, just so I could have it all the time, no matter what. You don't have to worry about subscribing to nothing. Got it. So Hargeet, what about you, buddy? What have you been playing? What have you been watching? Anything getting your attention now?
For a while there, of course, I kind of just shut it all off because I'm like,
right.
I just couldn't really deal with it. But then I kind of got back into a bit and started up Avowed. I played a little bit of that and then got the notice of games that are leaving Game Pass. So Evil West, I went through and played and finished that. I started a bit of Lies of P. That looks like it's a Souls-like, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do a Souls-like game. It's supposedly a good game, right? But I'm like, I don't know. And then I only have like a few days left. And I'm like, so I might end up just giving up on Lies of P. And then I started About back up. So I'm kind of like in that first major area there. I don't even remember what it's called anymore. It's been a while, but like the first city that you get up into, and so I'm like just going and doing all the little side quests, right, to try to get some skill points so that I can get up to a certain level. You are kind of squishy in the beginning there, but whatever. It's it's still fun enough. So I'm just doing all those little side quests in that area. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But yeah, I've been kind of off of gaming for a little bit. So
yeah, understandable for sure, most definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Hargeet, do you play in third person or first?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Avowed.
I think it's first.
Okay,
It's the default. I think it's first.
Okay, so FYI, everyone, I know there was like this big like scandal. Hold in the R stick, and you go to first or third. It's very simple. People try to make it like pretty ridiculous. But I will say this, and again, I got to give shout out to Jamie Moran. He's the one that told me to do this. The third person for me is good, but it wasn't great until you go into the options and you set the field of view to 75, and it's like an over the shoulder, like Resident Evil kind of a look. It
Hmm.
is the entire game. I played the game mostly in first person, but if you wanted to try it in third, change the field of view, because right now for me it's a little too far out and it looks a little weird. But when you bring it closer, it makes it much better.
I'll have to try that because I got like I think I got it maxed as far back as you can go, widest screen kind of thing. So
Yeah, I
I'll have to
usually
play with
whenever
that.
an FOV exists, I do 105. I like to have it larger, right, so I can see more. But yeah, so I yeah, it probably does make it feel much more like an over the shoulder if you cut it back, right? So interesting tip. That's an interesting tip,
I like it. I like it. The things you learn here on the Gamers Council.
right?
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so in case you guys haven't noticed in the audience, I'm actually remote. I am actually in Pittsburgh right now, at a Embassy Suites on like the 19th floor. Yay! So I have a week worth of training to do here at a hospital training facility. So I got a lot of stuff I gotta learn and gotta do, but it's all good. So I'll be here until next Saturday. But next week's show, I'll be back in the saddle and we'll be back from the studio, as it were. So, but again, I really appreciate both Hargeet being here and Mr. Boomstick and joining the show tonight. It's going to be a good one. Oh yeah, it's a pretty great hotel. So there's a lot of amenities that I'll have to play with when I'm not working. So, but and one of them was the amazing Wi-Fi they had. I was at the front desk and they were like, "Oh, don't worry, here, it's just a code." It's like, thanks.
That
Instead of
is
having to be
nice.
a loyalty member, they're like, "You'll be here all week. We'll take care of it." So that's cool. Yep, that wins my ranking. All right, so guys, there's a lot of topics. I sent everybody topics as to what we wanted to go over and to start. But I tell you, there was something that popped up um, that I wanted to kind of jump on, and that is let me bear with me, guys. I'm trying to hit the right buttons, and sometimes Dave doesn't always do that right. But we're going to try. Let's see. Share screen. Uh, let's see. Would you like? Yes. What in the world is this thing doing? All right. So, also share. Sorry. Where'd it go? For the love of Christ. As soon as I said that, everything went away. Here we go.
You know,
I'm back.
when you're not in your home turf, like it's just that's the life of a live podcaster. So, brother, listen, we're here for you.
Thank you. Let's see if it works. Let's get back and see. Is it there? Aha.
It's loading.
Yep. Well, maybe it's at this stage. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. So now let's
Yeah,
see
we
if I
see
can
it.
start. Okay. So did you guys see this story?
Yes.
I thought it was kind of interesting, but that now you have to sign into Xbox if you want to play Forza on your PlayStation. And correct me if I'm wrong, Boom, Hargeet, but say like when you play, I don't know, Minecraft, don't you have
You can already
to
do that.
log in?
Yeah.
And when you play Sea of
Sea of
Thieves,
Thieves, you have to log
Yes.
in
yeah,
as well. Yes.
Hmm.
I also have to do that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So what's all the fuss, right? Well, apparently, um, and oh no, it's Alex was talking about this as well. Um, let's see if I can bring this up, but it's good old Japan hates Xbox.
Yeah, I saw a couple of his posts.
Yeah, and of course it's loading. Christ's sake. There we go. We'll just do it this way. All right. So it says um, Yeah. So his basic first that he put up there was that you know Xbox don't do this, Microsoft don't make them do this. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have any kind of blocks. There's no there's no reason to have a sign into your account. That's you're hurting the ecosystem. You're hurting everybody. That's what he said like yesterday. But then somebody brought up an older post back in I guess May of last year, where he was talking about where Xbox players were Agve was complaining that the Helldivers 2 and Steam players, you had to log into your PlayStation account. And his answer then was, "Sorry, PC beggars, but this isn't your game. At the end of the day, you're just dead weight who came along for the ride. So make a PSN account and stop crying. You're not entitled to Jack from Sony." Huh? That's a little hypocritical, don't you think?
I mean, look.
Well, if you want, go ahead, man.
I mean, the thing is this. You already log if you play Minecraft or your kids play Minecraft or you play Sea of Thieves, you're already logging into your Xbox Live account, right? I mean, this is common knowledge.
Yep.
Forza going over there is literally the same thing, and if you're already logged in once, it's automatic. Again. We saw what happened with the PC crowd regarding having to log in there, and the PC crowd is much different. They're a much different animal than the console folks, right? Like, you tell me to log in, and I'm like, oh yeah, fine, whatever. You tell a PC guy or gal to log in, they're like, whoa, hold on a sec. I don't pay for playing online, so I'm not doing that. I'm not logging into anything that's not Steam, right? So, look, play it and log in, or don't play it and log in. And you know what's interesting, Dave? What is still number one, the most pre-ordered game on PlayStation across the globe? Not like just in the States, because in the States it's number 3, 4, and 13, right? It's all 3 versions. Most places around the world, it's number 1 and number 2. So I just think that this is another one of those situations where you do have some people in the gaming community that are rebel rousers, right? They want to come in. They want to gum up everyone's excitement for something. You know what you do? Like I did, put them on the pay no mind list. Don't waste your time. Block them. Don't read their stuff. Make sure that they can't, respond to you, and just forget that they exist. Put them on the pay no mind list. But please continue, gentlemen.
Yeah, go ahead, Hargeet.
All right. So, is it a little annoying? Sure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this is about user engagement, and I don't see. So here's the major problem that's different. Here's the reason it's different. For PSN, it's blocked for many countries in the world, 180 plus countries.
Yep.
Yeah,
you can create an Xbox account anywhere you want. It doesn't matter because it's a Microsoft account. A Microsoft account, literally every country, even the sanctioned ones, can make a Microsoft account. Why? Everybody on the planet uses Windows. Everybody on the planet uses Windows. Everybody on the planet uses Office. It's just the way it is. Every country, everywhere. Okay, so that infrastructure exists universally on every part of this world, right? So if you want to create an account, you can create an account. It doesn't matter, right? So there's no limitation here. In other words, they're not blocking any country from being able to play that game. You can, get the Steam version, even if you have to log into a Microsoft account, you aren't blocked in those 180 countries. You can go ahead and do it. It's not going to kill you. The PSN one, on the other hand, literally blocks them from buying the game.
Yes.
Okay, so they basically cut off 180 countries when they did that. That's stupid. So Steam will not even sell it in those countries because they created that stupid kerfuffle of you have to have this PSN login. So not only did they piss off the PC gaming crowd, on top of that, they had to refund. Steam had to refund the game to all those people in those countries, and then told PlayStation, "Fuck off. We're not going to sell that game in those countries from now on."
Yeah.
Right. So there's no option anymore. So all those people in all those countries have no access to the game. That's the difference. Right.
Yeah.
So yes, it's hypocritical. 100% it's hypocritical. However, one blocks 180 countries' peoples from buying the game.
Mm-hmm.
The other does not. Okay. That's the major difference here. And Sony eventually relented because guess what? They want to sell the game to everybody on the planet. Why would they want to take it away?
Yeah.
Right. The money guy comes in and says, "I don't care. Sell the game. I want the money." So
yeah,
that's what wins. Ultimately, that's what wins. Right.
Yep.
So there's the difference. Microsoft isn't blocking you. You can create that account anywhere on the planet. They don't care.
Yep.
Right. You can go ahead and create the account wherever you want. No problem. Right. The difference is with PlayStation, you're blocking. With Microsoft, you're not. That's the
Now,
difference.
did they ever remove that block, Hargeet?
Yes.
They
on
did,
PlayStation,
okay.
they finally relented and said, to hell with it. It's optional. And what we'll do, if you, to entice you, if you create an account, we will give you extra benefits. And I think that's fair. That's fine, right? Like, fine. If you want those extra benefits, create the account. If you have an option to do it, go for it, right?
Right.
You're not blocked from buying it anymore. You can play the game anywhere in the world. That's the right path, right? So now you've got your customers, and if you can get the engagement, you get the engagement. I may actually want to do it. Why? I can get those trophies. Cool. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
If I want them, I get them. Cool. Doesn't matter to me one way or the other. And I'm in the US, so I can easily get a PSN account. I have a PSN account. I was on PlayStation for quite a few years, right? So I've had the 2, the 3, 4, 5. So I have a PlayStation account. I can just log into it. Fine. Right. Cool. I'll get my trophies. Right. So, but I don't have to anymore. That's a cool thing. And that allows 180 countries to finally buy those games. So they finally relented. And that was the right choice.
Yeah, it was finally the right choice for them to do, for sure, because
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense. I mean, I get their whatever, padding their numbers, trying to force people into
Well, it's
their
engagement.
ecosystem.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's really what it
engagement.
comes down to. Yeah.
But it's
and
still,
it's a big deal. It
No,
is
it
a big
is.
deal. The engagement numbers are a big deal, and that's how you get telemetry and metrics, and that is very important.
Yep.
So I get
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
But
But it's not
there's a
very
flip side.
consumer friendly. So for sure. And Big B Money, where'd Joey at? Joey unfortunately had well, fortunately for him, I guess, he had some family come in, and so he has to step away tonight and actually be with them. He's going to be back at a later date, so don't worry, he will be on eventually. But you know, family first. That's the way we roll. And total respect out to Joey. We missed him tonight. We were hoping to have him on. I always love when he comes on and talks at TTS. So don't worry. They put on a great product, the We Bleed Green. And so yeah, we do have a super chat, Hargeet, if you don't mind reading that.
Absolutely. This is the nice joke that happened with C Money. So, do you K now instead of do you know the Broke Boy Insider $2? And Helldivers 2, they tried to do it 3 months later. Yeah, it's true. So they first sold the game, and then they tried to do it, and then the pushback was crazy. And they said, all right, we relent. We're not going to do it for Helldivers 2. But then they did it for, I want to say it was Ragnarok. One of the games they decided they were going to do it. One of them, they pushed it. And then now they've relented and said, oh, we're not doing it. So Joey's busy meeting up the pants. Oh, boy.
Too funny. Too funny. Goodness. Yeah. So that's cool. A lot of love for you, Boom. You get a lot of love today.
Appreciate that, everyone in the chat. Thanks so much for popping in. Make sure if you're not already subscribed to the Gamers Council podcast, please do so immediately.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So yeah, we have over let's say 180 people watching us on X and on YouTube. Thank you so much. If you're a member of the YouTube channel, and if you want to access all the cool emojis that we have, including Banjo-Kazooie, Boom's favorite, then all you got to do is it's $1 to subscribe to the membership, and then on YouTube you can burn it up just like I just did in the chat. So yeah, it's $1 for the membership, and we do it just because we want to be able to have interaction. Not that you don't make a lot of money off the $1 one, but you know what? I don't care. It's not about the money. It's about having fun, and that's why we want to do it. Yeah, Thatch, appreciate that. Yeah, and then sometimes people gift memberships. They do. That's great, but this isn't about that. It's about having fun and having a community where we can all hang out and talk, and that's why I love it here. And now we're up to 190 people. So yeah, even better. But guys, thanks again for being here. Let's go on to one of our main topics. We got a bunch of them, but let's. I guess the thumbnail is let's start off with that one and go around to. So, and some of us may or may not have any kind of insight, or I guess have heard different things. So we're not gonna delve into any sources. It's what we can talk about, what we feel comfortable talking about. So I'll say that right off the bat. But we're talking about Gears of War is there a collection coming out? Is that true, or is it strictly a rumor that's gone crazy, rampant, insane? Some people, special Nick, really is he's hanging his hat on that one, thinking
I
it's
can't wait to
true.
see that man get vindicated.
Yeah?
Because you got to. He's the one that originally broke the story. If you don't know who Special Nick is, he's 1/3 of the Xbox Era podcast. He broke this story years ago, and he got called all kinds of names. He was lambasted. It was just awful. Because it's the internet, folks. Because people are just POSs. But
Yep.
it is real. It is real. I know for a fact it's real because I got that sourced in 3 different places. And obviously, there have been several people in the games community, Detective Seeds being one of them. Detective Seeds is a PlayStation dude. Nice guy. We don't always agree, and we literally say that about each other. Nice guys, but I don't always agree. And that's awesome. It's great to have discourse that we're not on the same page.
Yep.
He doesn't agree with some of the stuff that I say. The same way I don't agree with his stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, we can be like men and shake hands and be on our way. Well, he broke some big information, Dave and Hargeet, regarding him getting some visual presentation of seeing Gears of War, the collection, as it's called, backloaded onto the PlayStation Network, right? How he saw that? Well, the guy has sources. He does have good sources. A lot of people don't believe him. That's fine. I believe him, so I'll leave it there. But I can tell you what I have personally heard, and every time I've been given permission to break a story regarding the collection, I follow my 2 different sources. So I have a total of 4 sources. 2 of them confirm that it exists. And I can take it even further, and I'm reiterating what I said last week, that it is expected to release between August, potentially August and September. They're targeting August, folks. It is releasing on PlayStation 5, is releasing on Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The one holdup here is my 2 sources, including what Detective Seeds had to say, is that it's single player and co-op. There is no PvP. But, and I know that upset a lot of people, Jez Corden of Windows Central, one half of the Xbox 2 podcast with Randall Thor 19, basically said pump the brakes because he has it that he could not confirm it wasn't releasing with multiplayer. He believes it doesn't make sense. Where I kind of push back on where the sense part comes into it is Gears of War E-Day is next year. That is confirmed. It is coming out in 2026. That is expected to have multiplayer. I think the reason why this collection rumored not to have multiplayer is it would split the fan base. Again, this is just now I'm spitballing here, folks. So please walk with me on this. I believe that not having multiplayer is specifically so they can focus on the multiplayer for the new Gears of War E-Day. And I think what you're going to see, and again, this is just pure speculation. This is not from any kind of source. You are going, like they do with Call of Duty, there's going to be new maps that are going to go along with E-Day. But I would imagine at some point during, the seasons, this thing is potentially going to have, because it's going to be eventually a gas part of Gears. It will bring back classic maps, classic weapon skins that you can go and buy, or you can, pay for the monthly season pass, whatever it is. That's why I think it makes sense for it to be co-op and single player only. But that's just my speculation. Please continue. I'm sorry I took over the show from you, Dave. I apologize.
Craig, you don't have to apologize for anything ever, and you talk as much as you want because that's why I have you on, buddy. I'm telling you, I love it. I'm telling you, don't. It's all good. You and Hargeet both have the floor anytime you want, and we have much respect for each other. So it's not it's all good, man. It's all good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hargeet, your thoughts on this?
Look, I mean, Boom's known about this for a while. You know, there's been quite a bit of back and forth and rumor mill about this for, as Special Nick has put it out like years ago, right? That this was coming. And it's just it's a question of how long it took for them to do it. Look, this started, I think, during the pandemic, and unfortunately that did kind of delay things. And this was their test bed of going to UE5. That at least is what we're understanding, right? And it's a great test bed. The interesting question is the whole multiplayer thing. I'm of two minds of it. One is like, hey, if you're going to bring it forward, then why not bring the multiplayer forward? On the flip side, perhaps they didn't want to spend the time in UE5 to get that going when they already have it running. And for those on the Xbox world, you have it. You have it today. It's in backwards compatibility. You can just play it. So you have the ability to play the multiplayer. I don't know that it puts up numbers enough to say that it was worth it or not, right? That might have been the thing. Maybe, Boom, you're right. They're like, let's focus on getting E-Day right. We don't have to focus on getting the multiplayer part of this, the PvP on this. They're going to have the co-op, which is good. If they don't have the co-op, that's just a major fail. Because this game, like, it just screams co-op. It is definitely
again.
Right?
Both my sources co-op. Said that it is launching with single player, but co-op single player.
Yes, it definitely needs to have co-op, and that's fine. Like, as long as it has that. It is interesting to have the game not come out with PvP. It feels like Factions, right? Like Factions came out, but
where's Factions? Oh, sorry.
Right, and I'm not even talking about Factions 2. I'm talking about like they did Last of Us 1, like a remake, remaster, whatever. The second that one didn't have the Factions come forward, right? So it kind of feels like that. Like, okay, fair enough. It is what it is. I get it, but it's coming to PlayStation. I would also expect it to kind of come to Switch too, but we will see. My guess is they have a port ready for Switch 2. I think Phil wants to support the Switch 2. So I would be shocked if it isn't announced for that too. But that's it. It's just an interesting question. Maybe they are working it. Maybe they have it. I don't know. But it is kind of, and Paris is pointing out that you have to support it. That is a key factor here, is that you then have to add content, make it useful. And maybe they're just like, you know what, for those who wanted to play the multiplayer stuff, PvP, it's there. Go play it there on Xbox. That's going to be the exclusive. And then, you get to play the campaign. And then a lot of it is the storyline is crazy. It's good, right? And hopefully that entices people on the other side to say, hey, I've been poo-pooing this franchise because it's on that other box, and maybe I should give it a chance. And the other part of this is just bringing new people, new generation of gamers into this world where that is an old game. Let's just be, fair about it. It's an old game, and there are new players out there who like, oh, that's old. I don't want to play that. Now you get a chance to do so. So that could be on Xbox, it could be on PlayStation, it could be on PC, it could be on Switch. It doesn't matter where it is, right? But there are just new players out there who have never given it a chance, and this is a chance for them to go get into it. So and maybe the multiplayer isn't the thing that they really need to focus on. They really need to focus on the story, like get people hooked into the whole Gears environment, the whole Gears ecosystem, and the whole ethos of it. That will be interesting. I think it's an interesting thing to do. There was always a question of which one comes first, E-Day or this. I like this. I would prefer people play E-Day. That trailer meant so much more because we had played the original games, right?
Yes.
And what we knew about the story and those two characters, right? That's what made that trailer so emotional, is because we understood that bond much later, right? When it was actually, being part of Gears 1, 2, and 3. So I think this is the right way to do it. Let people experience that story and then go to E-Day. And I'm sure E-Day will have a lot of references to stuff that we've gone through with 1, 2, and 3, maybe even further. Right. So I kind of like that this is the way they do it. But yeah, I think it's great if it's coming out in August. Do not put out in September. The current rumor is September is when GTA is coming out. So if that's the case, stay the hell away. September should just be nobody else's. Just get out of the way. Let GTA take that, and put your game out well before or well after you do not want to get in the way of GTA. Just get out of the way of GTA. So September, that's the current rumor. It's like September 22, I think, is the date that is currently rumored to be the release for GTA 6. If that comes out to be true, yeah, just stay the hell out. Make it August. Let people have fun in the summer. That's a good time to put it out. Just stay the hell away from GTA.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping that they do, and I have a feeling that at some point Microsoft, being a publisher, and they're gonna get the word. They're not gonna sneak drop it on them. They're gonna get some kind of heads up that it's coming.
Oh yeah.
So once that kind of falls in their lap, then they'll be able to make adjustments, and maybe it already has fallen in their lap, and maybe that's why they're making adjustments. There's always a possibility that we find out more about the release date at a certain showcase in the summer, or maybe a
very
certain
likely,
event
very likely
might happen. So,
yes,
just saying,
very likely.
that would be a good time to announce that said game releasing. Would either be at the Keighley event or at an Xbox event. So, it's coming on consoles only first, right? And like a year later on PC. So, consoles definitely have the up and up for GTA 6.
Yeah, so GTA 6, yeah, I don't know where that's going to show up. That's you'd figure it would be on Sony stage, but do they have a showcase?
There's rumors that they were considering. I want to say it was a couple of months ago. It might have even been in the beginning of the year. It might have been either January or the beginning of February, where there was a rumor that Sony was quote unquote considering doing a showcase. But that's the thing that's, it's funny you bring that up, Hargeet, because when we're writing these shows, you go through a lot of mental gymnastics trying to put all the words from your brain into the pages so you can actually put a show together. And one of the things, there was a story that we're going to be specifically talking about tomorrow, me and Fuzzy, regarding, it was a story from Windows Central. I think it was 2 days ago. Jez Gordon wrote it, where they spoke to a couple of analysts regarding the sales, the sales boost that the Series S could get, because it is going to run on the Series S. We have, we'll break down who actually said that it could, and it will. But if you drop that Series S down to $200, and you somehow you can somewhat co-market, because that's the thing that is a bit puzzling. We're so late in the game, gentlemen. Like, normally, like, Sony is like with the flag, right? They're waving the flag that they got the marketing. They don't have the marketing in Xbox. I mean, listen, it's all assumed that PlayStation's getting the marketing, right? Like that's the assumption that everyone has been going with for well over a year, maybe even more than that, because it's PlayStation. It's the most recognized brand. It makes sense. But I've said this in my pushback to that, and again, I'm not the money people, so what do I know? But could you imagine having marketing, right? Your last hurrah to push your consoles because it's only going to be available on current gen consoles, and in that same year, again, folks, I'm giving away $1 million idea, and I'm not going to get any credit for this. But if I'm Xbox marketing, just walk with me on this for a second. If in the year 2025, if you are the publisher that has Call of Duty, a sequel to Black Ops 2 coming out, and you spent the money and acquired the GTA marketing, do you know what that would actually do for Game Pass and your console sales? It would be bonkers. It would be a renaissance for these consoles that have consistently been not selling. So, I mean, again, I know it would be a very expensive, proposition from Microsoft, but I don't know if I personally walk away from not going after those marketing rights. That's just me, guys.
It would be pretty expensive, I would think, right?
Who
Look,
has the money, though?
I'm always in the like the camp of, why not Nintendo? Out of just like,
be crazy,
just to shake up the market and say, because
not wrong.
You think somebody has money? Nintendo's sitting on a lot of money because they just print it. Their games sell like crazy, right? So they're sitting on money and they're putting in a new console, and they want to prove out all these games now run on our console. How better to do that than to take one of the premier games, like the biggest franchise, outside of like Fortnite, right? And say, here you go. It runs on our Switch too, right? Look, it's still going to cost a pretty penny. The other option is they all get it. They all get the marketing. That can also happen.
Yep.
Right. So that's another way to go.
Yes.
Right. And maybe this is just one of those games where it just makes more sense that like everybody gets to market it because it's just too big to have it be locked to one platform. So let it go everywhere. But I love the idea of Nintendo coming out of nowhere and saying the announcement is going to be April. What was it? April 2 or what? When is the announcement for the Switch 2 stuff? It was near the beginning of April, right?
The first week in April, I think.
So it's the beginning of April, and that's perfect timing. It's a perfect timing to get that information out if you're going to release it this year, right? And it's like maybe that is the announcement vector is the Nintendo announcement. Setup is going to have, here you go, here's GTA 6, and it's launching, blah blah blah, right? And so we just keep assuming it's going to be Xbox or PlayStation. But hey, I still love the idea of Nintendo coming in and saying, yo, we're here now.
Yeah.
We can play these games. So
that would be
that
crazy.
would be freaking awesome. It would be freaking awesome.
It really would. And one thing to say too is that if Microsoft got the rights to promote it, it's just the promotional part of it. It's not Game Pass coming.
But they don't. I don't think they would even need it, Dave.
Right.
To be honest
with
you, because I mean, again, look, I'm not a marketing manager, folks, but I think that this pretty much writes itself.
Yeah.
Last year we learned that on December 31st of 2024, the marketing rights agreement with Sony expired.
Yep.
Right. That's why people were wondering what, and I was one of them. Why aren't they doing bundles? What are they doing? Right. Well, this year they're going to be able to do that. But just imagine you're coming off of 3 consecutive years of just loss after loss after loss, upwards of sometimes almost 30% in decline. Right. But if you marketed this correctly, you could logistically make a Series X and S Grand Theft Auto bundle. It will fly off the shelves, and not so much the X as much as the S, which of course will be the affordable way into gaming, because a lot of people are going to be coming over from PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X and S, right? So they're gonna come from last gen to this gen. It's 2025. Things are very expensive. Things aren't going down. You give somebody an opportunity to a $300 bundle with GTA, it's going to sell, right? And in that same year, Dave and Hargeet, you have a bundle for Call of Duty, which again, Black Ops 2 is probably tip of spear for many Black Ops fans. And you're getting a sequel coming off of Black Ops 6, which is phenomenal. I just think it literally writes itself.
It does. It really does. Go ahead.
I think one of the things is, that's a problem with that is I don't think they want to sell that hardware anymore. I think they hate the idea that they have to subsidize it. And I think the PlayStation side is now profitable. And we all know the Nintendo side, they don't bother with subsidizing. It's all profitable. Yep. And they're sitting there saying, why are we paying you $100 or more when you're buying our console? This is just stupid. And at this point, why don't we just wait for next gen? And look, the $700 is like the sort of market, disruption to tell you that that's where you're going to start paying next gen. It's not going to be your subsidized $400 or $500. You're going to have to come up with more money. So I think that's what they're kind of looking at and saying, we're going to ramp down, and like we are not expecting to do much with this generation. And if we're really going to, now I don't know if they're going to have a next gen next year. I don't know that. Okay. But if they are, right? Because it could be that all we get is a handheld. And if it's a handheld, that's a different story. But if it's the next gen console, I think they're going to have the next gen console. It's going to be at break even or a little bit of profit, and they will market the hell out of that. I think that's where they're going to start doing your bundles, because I think they're sick of losing money. There's just no point at this point when their competitors aren't doing it. You know, they do that to try to get market share. It didn't work. It didn't work, right? So then what's the point of wasting money? And I think that's where they're looking at the calculus and saying, let's just ramp down this one, ramp up the next one, right? And we will get it at break even, so we don't lose money, or a little bit of profit, right? And that way, now you sell it, you don't sell it, who cares? We're not hitting our bottom line. If you want our platform, here it is, right? And now you can bundle the hell out of it, and you're not losing money, right? That's the thing they're going to look at to say, how do we get to the point where it's not $100 out of our pocket every time you buy a console, right? Because that's where it is right now. That sucks. That sucks for them. So I think that's kind of what they're looking at. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's my thoughts on. I think they've ramped down. Like, it's hard to find the boxes now. I think they've ramped down the Series S and X.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my theory.
That definitely could be that way. You know. So, but yeah, like I said, it's all kind of rumors and speculation. We're just kind of touching the bases to see what we think on this one. I do want to we got a couple of super chats, and big shout out to a lot of people that have jumped in. Fonz Gaming has jumped in the chat. Welcome, Fonz. Lemon from 108 Dragons is here as well. So it's awesome to see you. Spartan 661s. Nice to see you in the chat, my friend. And yes, Spartan, this is a tie-dye shirt, but it's not just a tie-dye shirt. It is a Gamers Council tie-dye shirt. Oh yeah, available in one of our many stores we have. Link below. Anyway, so enough promotion, but yeah. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so let's see here.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
One more time.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
I love it. Thanks to Dirt Griggity for that. So yeah, so we got a whole bunch of supers and new members too.
Absolutely. Ryu Gaming became a member. Thanks.
Thank you for sure.
And then we got a renewal for member for 8 months for Thatch.
It's awesome. Thank you, Thatch.
And J Mac, member for 19 months. At Gamers Council Podcast top tier. Hashtag Graybeards. Hashtag Xbox World Order.
There you go.
Dave Reezy, $2. The Stroker Hargeet together again.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave Reezy. Oh, yeah.
All right. Do you now the Insider, or do you know now? Insider? $2. PS getting a 5+ year old game. Xbox dead. Sarcasm. Yeah. Xbox dies about 3 times a day.
Yeah. And somebody else said that in the chat earlier, said Xbox isn't worth it. It's like, no. I mean, tell me about that those first party games coming out for PlayStation. Then we'll talk.
Well, they just announced Death Stranding 2.
That's
in June.
Looks really good, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Death Stranding 2. I mean, it's coming to at least PC, if not at PC and Xbox later, but probably Switch as well.
It is exclusive.
It is.
But for how long?
Exclusive for now. Yeah. I don't know how long, but hey, and it's published by PlayStation, so
yep.
There you go, guys. You got something. Why so serious? $2. I am here to promote Ray Ray's Power Hour. Okay.
Man. Wait, didn't it used to be P-Lump's Power Hour? Is Ray Ray taking over the world? I think so.
Oh, boy.
One podcast at a time.
Andre Doyle, $2. Take-Two said it's only 30 FPS on current gen. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. Yeah, I mean, we've all been speculating that is likely the case. It's and the reason is simply that studio tries to take every ounce of power it can to make it as visually crazy as possible, right? And so unfortunately that means you're going to lose out on the performance side of it, but you're probably going to get something so visually stunning that it's going to make it worth it, sort of. It still sucks, right, that it's 30 FPS. But look, when that game came out, like Red Dead Redemption 2, tell me that didn't look freaking amazing on that 1X. It looked amazing. What it was doing with that box was crazy, right? So look, that's what they're gonna do now, and you know, it already looks pretty crazy when you see some of the trailers. If they can pull that off on the current consoles, man, right? So yeah, it's gonna be 30. Like we've all been saying it, like expect it to be 30, and if they're confirming it's 30, like yeah, it's not shocking. Pretty much everybody that has any technical know-how says like, yeah, this is gonna be.
It's
30.
such a big, massive world that it'd be
So,
hard to
yeah.
try and do 60 without. I mean, realistically, if the since it's so easy, it's kind of.
You know, let me ask you guys, because and I'll ask the chat this because I'm not a tech guy, right? But do you think, okay, so 30 is expected, right? That's probably going to, even for the Pro. Will they have a 40 FPS mode like they have,
possible,
you know, for the Series X and the PS5 Pro? Because they could offer that. If you look at some of the specs that came out for the Assassin's Creed, for both the Series X and the PlayStation 5 Pro, there is a 40 option.
Yeah. I mean, it's always possible. I just don't know that they will bother. I think what they generally tend to do is tweak the hell out of it to the point where it looks as good as possible at 30. And I don't know that they will try, but they could. They could. Again, it's not their norm. It's just not their norm. This is why, you know, like what they should have done is put it on PC, and then it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. But they don't. You know why they don't do that? Why they say they don't have time to do it is they literally take every ounce of power they can possibly find in that box to give you the best visuals they possibly can, right? And you know, if that's the way it's going to be, I don't know that they focus on 40. I think they focus on high fidelity and at 30. And but that's just my opinion. I'm just basing it on what they've done in the past. So I think that's what they're going to do. That I don't think they're going to even care to do anything but 30 and say what is the max we can make this box hum at 30 with the best possible output we can give. Right? I think that's what they're going to do. That's what, and that is what their history has been. So that'd be my guess. I don't think they're going to even bother. When it gets to PC, you can then start seeing better performance.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to bother. I think they're going to say 30 locked, and we're going to give you the best visuals that you can possibly see. Right? That's what it's what they do. And I fully expect them to blow our minds when this thing comes out. So we will see. I mean, what they did, remember they did this on the 360 and PS3. You had 3 simultaneous characters running at the same time that you could flip through at any time. Just think of how they pulled that off on the 360 and PS3, right? That's how crazy these guys are, right? And it was a big deal to have the fast Super Magic SSD where you could go with Ratchet and Clank into a different world. They had 3 running at the same freaking time on a PS3 and a 360. So remember that. That's what they did. This is what that studio can do. Like, they are crazy with what they do, but they target the performance they need at 30 and then give you these crazy capabilities. And I'd be you know, like, I'm looking for that kind of thing that pushes gaming. This is what they do. I love it. That's awesome stuff. Even if you don't like the game, just the fact that they can push the envelope that much, right, is just so cool to see, right? And that somebody's really pushing it, right? So I'm waiting to see what they do with it, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll see. Did get another member.
All right, Mac 22 TH 54 became a YouTube member. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. And with that, it's only $1 if you want to become a membership yourself. And then if you're on YouTube with the membership, you actually have access to tons. I think we have 17 different emojis available right now that you can use to you know, highlight your discussion in chat, as it were. So yeah, all right, guys. We got over 300 people here watching us live on X and on YouTube. Thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And again, big shout out to all the community members that are here. So many amazing members. I'm not at my home, so I don't have multiple computers set up to type the chat and everything at the same time. So I apologize for that. So if I don't reach out to you, don't welcome you in the chat. It's nothing personal. It's just I'm making do tonight. There we go. So I'm actually on location in Pittsburgh for training. So, but I was like, I got to do a show no matter what. Haven't had anything to eat or anything since breakfast. So, but I got to make sure I get this first. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of,
Speaking
got-
of, hang on.
Elon.
There you go. Go ahead.
member for 2 months. What it do? Play my theme song. You already know why I'm here.
Oh, that's the Dead Presidents, right? Lump song? Right, yeah. Don't have it queued tonight. But yeah. Thanks, P Lump. We appreciate you being here, sir. All right, so let's see. Topics. I guess let's Demo Flow posted this really nice little post about this. Obviously, a lot of people did, but so we got to get into this. Let me share.
I don't know how much longer
screen.
you have, Boom, but I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah,
pick the next
I
topic.
can another 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay,
So
all right.
I'll hang out for this topic, then I'll bounce.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, so we'll so yeah, lease PlayStation 5 lease program. It's eventually
Mhm.
coming to the US, but the big thing I guess I take away from this is it is not a lease to own, a rent to
Nope.
own. It's not. So it's not like All Access, which is how I picked up my first Xbox, was through All Access, which included Game Pass and was interest free. Didn't have to pay any interest on it. So it was nice, affordable monthly payments for 2 years. And it came with 2 years of Game Pass. To me, that was a bargain. Made it a lot easier to buy 2 consoles at the time. So it was to do one of them through All Access. What's this for? Boom, what do you think this is for? How is this going to help? And who are they going after with this?
You know what? Look, here's the thing. The spitefulness in me wants to say that I thought leasing anything like, I don't know, Xbox Game Pass, you're renting your games, so now you're renting your consoles. I guess renting games, no good. Renting consoles, 2 thumbs up. The difference here, and I did not see any of the big media sites, and I didn't expect to, so that's why I'm saying it, but I didn't see any of the big media sites kind of pushing back against this, because Demo Flow Gaming actually gets into like the between the lines part of this. And that is the back half of what he's saying regarding his post, and that each game is still going to be $70. You still have to buy a PlayStation Plus account. You have to buy to be able to play online, and also your cloud saves. So yes, it's £11 for the rental of either the console itself or the handheld. I mean, it's $11. I think a lot of people, or £11, and when it comes to the US, it's probably going to be around $15, probably $14.99, maybe $12.99, depending on what the dollar versus the pound is at that moment. I mean, listen, if you can't buy a console, $13 a month is actually not bad, to be honest with you. But here's the problem. The problem is that you still have to buy a subscription to PlayStation Plus. Now, whether that's the 80 or the top tier, you still got to buy it, right? So that's money that you're going to spend in order to play. You still have to buy the games at $70. And I'm assuming that because you sign up for PlayStation Plus, you'll be able to get some games in their collection, which their collection is not bad. It really isn't. But when you look at the way Xbox did it, I mean, Dave, you were a prime example of that. You did it with, I think you did it with multiple consoles, and you got Xbox Game Pass for 2 years.
Yep.
And you were getting games in there, first party, third party, second party, and indies, day and date.
Yep.
And how much a month were you paying, if you don't mind me asking?
If you got the Series S, it was $24.95 a month. If you got the Series X, it was $34. And then with the tax, because you had to include your tax in it every month, it was $37 a month for 2 years. Wow. And after that, I own it.
You kept it, but the console was yours at that point.
Yep, yours to keep.
Yeah.
And then I just had to sign up for a subscription service if I wanted to continue it, or whatever games I had purchased were still mine and everything like that. So it was, but that was for 2 years. And at the time, I wasn't really big on Game Pass. I was like, yeah, oh, it's cool. It's gonna need service. But once I had it, man, I was
About to
sold.
go
And
back.
that really what got me to stay and push the value of Game Pass now is because it just came with the deal. It was so smart of them to do that because now I'm like I'm hooked and I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, I mean, again, listen. If you can't afford to buy a console, let's be real here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this isn't console warring or console war rhetoric. This is real life. Let's just put on your big boy pants. The world is expensive. It just is. And if you've been away from gaming, let's say for instance, the last time you bought a system was the PlayStation 3 or the 2, and you see this deal, you're gonna wind up jumping into it. But it's I don't want to say false. It's or a falsity because you're renting the console for the 11 pounds plus tax, probably about 13, 14 pounds, whatever it is, probably going to be about 15 or 16 bucks here in the States. Again, you still have to buy the games. You still have to buy the PlayStation Plus subscription. That's where they get you. And again, it's really like trying to compare watermelons to apples. The way Xbox did it was the right way. The console was yours after 2 years. You got a significant amount of value for your $24 or $34 versus you spending 11, 12, 14, whatever it is after tax, and still having to go buy your games and still go buy your subscription. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not see this making any kind of headway in the gameverse, in just my opinion.
Yeah, it's I mean, maybe there's people out there who get it, but it just doesn't seem like it's enough benefits to do it. That's what I just don't see the benefits of it, you know. And then you don't own it. It's just a temporary lease, and then you turn it back in. Hargee, what are your thoughts?
So they've tested this in Japan and it worked very well. It's sold out. Let me give you different scenarios, right? Let's say GTA 6 comes out and you just want to play that one game. You don't care about anything else. You can just rent the bloody console for 1 month. And if you want to, you don't necessarily need PS Plus for that. It's a single player game, right? So you don't have to buy PS Plus. You just get the game. And if you get the one with the disc, the disc drive version, you get it for 1 month. It's like 25-ish pounds. You go buy the game and then trade it back in, right? So you get the disc, play the game. Hopefully within a month, you've kind of done what you need to do. Trade the game in, send it back. So your investment is probably around $20-ish on the game, $25 for the console. That's not bad, right? Because now you don't have to spend $500, don't have to spend $70, right, to go get the game. Take another example. You're a primary Nintendo or an Xbox player, and you want to play the next, exclusive that comes to PlayStation. Okay, cool. You can just rent the bloody console, play the game, done, right? You could also say, all right, I'll wait a while. All these things that are coming out for PlayStation, after about 5-6 years, maybe they're all in PS Plus Extra. I'll pay the $15 for PS Plus Extra. I'll pay the $25 for the console. I'll have my month vacation, and I'll just keep playing all their games. I'm done. I send it back. I don't have to invest the whole thing. Here's another one. You pay $35, you can get a Pro. Say you already have a PS4 or a PS5. You're like, I just want to see what it's like. Pay $35.
Yep.
Try it out. See what it's like. Right? And you say, that wasn't worth it. Done. Or that was pretty good. I like some of the increases in visual quality. Cool. I might invest in it. Right?
Right.
It's another way to go. Right? So I want to put it in different terms so that you see, like, there is a market for this, not for the person that's going to go buy the console anyway. Right? So for some of us where it's like, I can just afford to buy the console. I don't care. I'm looking at the console player who says, I find it challenging to buy multiple consoles. This is an option. I buy a Nintendo Switch because I can take that with me. Cool. Hey, I want to play those games that aren't on Switch too. There's exclusives. That Death Stranding 2 looks really good. Hey, Death Stranding 1's on there too, right? Cool. I can go get that like at GameStop for like $10. Hey, why don't I just go do that?
Yep.
And then I can just play the games and then just return it. I don't need it forever, right? Just think of that customer. That customer exists. That customer exists, right? And if they didn't, the Japan thing would fail, right? It's sold out. It's people are lining up to get it. So I think this is a good thing. It's another avenue.
Yep.
Especially if you're a primary in a different console, right? This is a great way to get in. Because look, if I could stand their controller, this is kind of a good way to go play their. I usually wait and say, all right, you have like 8 exclusives that are useful to me now. Let me go get your console and play them, right? Okay, this is a great way to do it. I can rent it for like 3 months, play all your games, bye. Because I don't have to spend $500, right? So it's not a bad idea for those who don't want to be a PlayStation primary, right? But you want to have that access every now and then to be able to play, right? When we dust off my PS5, well, it's just sitting there collecting dust. You could just rent the bloody console when you need it, right? So I'm giving you a different twist on it. So
no, you're right.
This has a value. It does have a value, and we're primary Xbox gamers. So if I could stand their controller, this actually might be a cool way for me to engage when they actually do have games that I care about, right? So that's another way to go, right? And I'm just going to wait for PC releases, but this is a potential path. So I see this. I see this as a value, and there are players out there who very casually play games, right? FIFA comes out, they play it for a month, and they're done. That's a possibility. You want to do that? Fair enough. You don't have to own the console. If you want to, fair enough, go buy it. One of the things I don't like, though, is they do offer a 3-year lease deal, which is when you get the cheaper like per month, but you've essentially paid for the console, yet you don't have the console.
But you don't get
that
to keep
part.
It. That's
that's a little disappointing to me, if not like kind of just a slap in the face. At that point, like if you paid that much, you really should just have the console at the end of it, right? Or work a deal where it's like you pay an extra $50 and you own the console, but they don't even like they don't clarify that. They're like, we can negotiate with you. No. You should be clear in writing. Here's what it would take. You pay an extra $30, you own the console, something like that, right? They should just do that. It's a waste for them to take it back from you if it's that old anyway. But whatever, right? I think that's a little bit of a miss on their end, but I still think it's going to be valuable enough that people will take advantage of it. So I think there's a market for this. So I think it's a cool thing for those who are primary PC, primary Switch, primary Xbox. This is a way to get your PlayStation games for the very few that you might care about. Get it, play it, do it, done, and send it back, right? And now you don't have to put the $500 or $700 investment in. You can just play your games at a lower price. So I kind of like it. I think it's a cool thing. I know people want to poo-poo it. There's the console war stupidity, and that's their problem. They're like, you shouldn't lease your game. You don't own it. Go F off. That's just bullshit, right? They're letting you lease the console. Why? Because they don't care. They want your money. It's all about money. They just want money.
This is for the ultra casual, though. This is
exactly.
See, I don't see that it's going to be people who buy consoles. This is going over their head. People who are even the regular casual has a PlayStation 5. This is not going to apply to them. This is for exactly what Hargeet pointed out. I want to play this thing for a month. I want to play this thing for 2 months, and I'm going to send it back. Maybe they hang around with it more because it's like, well, it's it's $12. I can afford $12, right? And they're not going to be savvy enough to try and find the subscription somewhere else. I don't even know if you can, but look, if it did well in Japan,
PS Plus, I don't know because they've been sued for that, right? So I don't know if they allow that or not. I think you might be able to get PS Plus on discounts, but almost everything digital for them is locked. It's locked to their store, and that's why they're getting sued. Because you can't get those discounts from like CD keys and whatnot. But the others do allow that, right? So
Let's
It's gonna
go
be
ahead.
very interesting to go to the. But gentlemen, I actually
Yep.
gotta go. I gotta take
I
off.
know you do.
Just wanted to say, everyone in the chat, please, while you're here, hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to WebDave, please check out his work. Also, Hargeet does have a YouTube channel outside of being on everyone's podcast, including mine on Wednesdays, Primetime Gaming. I'm not going to do an outro because I don't have. Everyone knows me already. Again, my information is going to be in the show notes, but I just
Links
want
in the
to wish
description below.
just wish everyone a good evening. I'm gonna now go spend some time with Mrs. Boom. Dave will be talking soon. Hargeet, I'll see you Wednesday in chat. I'll see you tomorrow at 12
Thanks
p.m.
for joining us.
Thank you, Boom. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Later.
See
Bye,
ya.
Mrs. Boomstick.
Thanks, brother. Later.
See ya. All right. So with that said, and welcome out to the 300 people that are here watching us live on X and on YouTube. Thank you so much for doing that. Read the super chat real fast, and I wanted to bring up one little point I was thinking about.
Do you know the Broke Boy Insider? $2. Xbox doesn't have the All Access program anymore. Yeah, I don't know if they've canceled it or not. I'm not sure. Maybe they have.
Usually it's a kind of a timely thing. Another one, the system first comes
Yeah.
out for the first little bit, and then now that it's easier to get a hold of, or they've got some more different models, more expensive models that they'll do away with it. And I have a feeling that whatever the new console comes out, it's something they can bring back because they brought it back in the past.
Yeah.
So that's always a possibility. Anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. My thought. Okay, so you get a system from Sony that is a leased system. Is it going to be one of the new ones? Probably not. It's probably going to be something they've had back at the factory that's refurbished, which is fine as long as they fix it.
Yep.
But then what? Say you rent it a couple times, a couple of months, and then they turn it back in. Do they turn around, clean it up, send it back out again? And it just keeps getting more wear and tear. And it just, I don't know. Is it because eventually stuff like that, and let's be honest, even some of the rent-to-own places in America, which actually do have it where you do pay an astronomical amount of money, but it's easier monthly to do that. But then at the end, if you make all the payments, it is yours to keep. So you actually pay to to own. And PlayStations are available through rent-to-own companies here as well in America. So that's one possibility for somebody who's hurting for money. But one of the things that those places come across is that if you don't own it, if you're just renting it with no incentive to keep it, it's going to be yours someday. They don't usually take care of it as well, or it gets abused, or it just doesn't seem to be at the treatment that it normally would if you spent the money and got it yourself. And I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. That's just the nature of the beast. Same way, like if you go in, like I have a rental car, I'm going to treat it just fine because that's the way I am. But I know that a lot of times that people that have rental cars usually are a little harder on them when you rent a car, and that's why after so many years of it being in service as rental, they sell them. Enterprise and companies like that, they sell them off, and usually they have a lot of miles on them because a lot of people use them. A lot of stuff. So I mean, there's always a good and the bad. Yeah, you may be getting a good deal, and they've made a lot of money off of it and stuff. But this system, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, the only thing I can think of is they do have a lot of refurbished stuff laying around. They're like, what are we going to do with all this stuff? Can't sell it as new now because that's legally, you can't do that. You can't turn around and sell something new once it's been returned. That's why Microsoft on their website has a refurbished decision. And that's whether somebody bought it and had a buyer's regret and turned it back in, and somebody accepted it goes back to the warehouse, and it wasn't even out of the box. It's still considered refurbished. You can't sell it as new. That's illegal. So, and they sell them at a discounted price even through Xbox.com. So that's always a possibility. But is there a lot of PlayStations? I mean, I guess the odds are that they do have a lot of returns, just because that's the way, that's consumer, that's the marketing business and stuff like that. That's the way things work. Welcome out, Sapo. Hello, Timmy. Good to see you there too, buddy. So yeah, so I mean, it's just something. It's hard getting anything else on that. We want to go ahead and jump to another subject.
No, I think that we've covered it enough, right? So
yeah, I am good with that. Again, thank you guys for the super chats and comments. If you have other comments, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat, and we'll jump around and get to them. So Hargeet, let's look at some of the list of things that we have that we can talk about. We could talk about layoffs. We could talk about The Last of Us maybe not having a third game. Let's see. We could talk about the new COD in development for the next Xbox that's coming out in
Sure.
2026. Which one of those sounds good to you?
Let's talk about COD, I guess.
Let's talk
Why
about
not?
COD. Sounds good because that's because to me that's we're talking about a new system too. I mean, there's a lot of rumors and speculation, which it technically is still rumors and speculation,
Mhm.
that there is going to be a new system next year. It's all rumors until it's officially announced. But there's a lot of insiders and a lot of people that are saying, including Jez Corden, he seems to know some things. There's some PC stuff, hybrid type things in the work. Maybe is it this? Is it that? We don't really know until they tell us what they want us to know. So, but
Mhm.
Hargeet, not that we have any kind of insight because I don't. I've heard things, but I don't have any official insight or anything. But what are your thoughts? Do you think that this could be something that they're working on? Because it may be a great way to start the system off with a new Call of Duty. Boom.
Um, it's viable. It's certainly
Mhm.
viable. There are challenges to making it work. I, we were having a discussion on Game Talk Live yesterday, and Jake, who's an off and on panel member, brought up the AMD merger of their current two distinct architectures into UDNA, and maybe that's what they would look to leverage as part of the next consoles. And that's viable. It's totally, that could be a thing, but that might push it out a little bit. It's also possible that they've been kind of working that as part of the APU design for the next Xbox. We don't quite know where they are, but there are so many hints that it could potentially be 2026. Again, I want to caution that hardware stuff can sometimes get delayed. So just keep that in mind. It could be that it goes to 2027. It could be 2028. We just don't know. There's also rumors that PlayStation is gearing up for their next console, and that could be in 2027. So we just know we were expecting Switch to come out last year, but it's been moved to this year. Just think about that, right? So, and that's hardware that's been locked for a while. We already know what it is, right? It's been locked for years, but it took them a while to kind of get it to where they want to get. They have to get the content right. That's part and parcel of it. So yeah, maybe, right? It is possible they have dev kits ready to go. Then we have rumors that that's potentially happening right now. And if that's true, then they're on path to make that happen. That they're at the right time to say a 2026 release. Okay, so if the dev kits are available now, that's the right timing. It's the right timing for them to be able to release a console in 2026. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know. And remember, we have two distinct things going on. There's the handheld, there's the under TV console, and I don't know what they're planning to put out in 2026. I don't know if it's going to be that handheld, if it's going to be both, if it's going to be the under your TV thing. Again, we just don't know, right? And there's too much speculation to understand which one it is or both, right? Could it be a Series S, Series X situation? Yes, it could be, right? Could it be more of this is a PC now and it doesn't matter? Yes, it could be. We don't know, right? And there's a lot of things happening that are merging the two worlds, which is good. Like I've been kind of putting that out there for years, that the next logical step is that they will take the Windowsiness away from Windows to make it a gaming environment and kind of merge the two environments together and allow you to access your Xbox-ness from Windows. And what that would look like is you would go to the Xbox app and you would have your games. You would just have your entire library there, and it would have the UI, the feel of Xbox. That is a very cool thing if they can pull it off. What that looks like, I don't know, right? Part and parcel of that could be this is a Windows 12 thing. Well, then Windows, that team has to be ready to release Windows 12, right? So there's a lot of moving parts. And so we will have to see what it comes out to. So is it viable? Yes, it is viable that they have something ready to go 2026. That is possible. But I would caution that it is possible that slips to 2027. And it could be again neck and neck with a PS6 coming out at the same time with the next Xbox. That is also viable, right? So we're kind of in this nebulous zone. What we do know is Switch 2 is very likely coming because they've already kind of announced it this year. So
Yep.
hopefully we get that this year. And then if we get new hardware next year from Xbox, fantastic. So we'll have 2025 new Nintendo, 2026 new Xbox, and then potentially 2027 new PlayStation. Cool, right? Like year after year after year, the new hardware is awesome. If they can kind of get a leg up on PlayStation, they will kind of get those newer gen looking games earlier, right? So that is something that could help them as far as getting into the market share. And again, I think one of the things to keep in mind, I don't think they're going to take a hit on it anymore. I think you're going to pay. You're going to pay what it costs, and just be ready for that. It's just the way it is. Just like the games are going everywhere thing. Be ready that this is not going to be a cheap box at $300. You're not getting it at $300. It's going to cost you what it's going to cost you. Think of your ROG allies. Think that is the likely price range, right? You're going to pay something like that, right? PS5 Pro, right? Don't expect it to be cheaper than that, right? So it's going to be around that range. You did hear him say above 1,000 seems ridiculous. He said that for a reason.
Yep.
Keep that in mind.
$99.99.
It's going to be somewhere below that, but it's going to be close to that. So I wouldn't be surprised if $700-800. That's probably likely. I'm just saying, right? So just keep that in mind. You're probably looking at those kind of prices, but it's going to have capability. And if it truly does merge with Windows, you do have the potential option. Then your Epic Store's there, your Steam library's there. That would be very, very cool, right? So we'll see what the implementation looks like. We don't know, but 2026 is a viable thing. If we're hearing rumors that games are being developed, so you should kind of be looking out for that. Let's see what happens at June Showcase. Maybe the Keeleys this year. Do they announce it? We will see, right? Exciting times. Times.
It definitely is. It definitely is. So I'm thinking that Phil said, I guess, in an interview last year that certain things could be like a few years away, and when he said it, it was 2024, now 2025, and then 2026 is when we're thinking about this maybe coming out, and that technically is a few years away, not necessarily calendar years, but as far as the dates go, when he made that little off the cuff comment. so of course people push it out as far as they can, but there's always a possibility that they have this thing ready to go, and we know they've been working on it for a while. And even one of the rumors is that they've already locked down. If you're locking down what is going to happen, whether it's be the handheld hybrid thing that we've heard about, or if it's going to be the next gen console, or if both that they've locked down, I think Microsoft could have actually had the Series system out of like a few months earlier than they did, but they wanted to wait for another piece of tech to be available to them, and they waited, and it ended up coming out right at the same time, like a month apart, I think, from the PlayStation, or a couple of weeks apart from when the PlayStation came out, instead of having the quote unquote earlier advantage. But in the long run, the Xbox was a more powerful system than the PlayStation 5. A lot of people have said that, including Digital Foundry, who sometimes their Xbox ponies love them and sometimes they hate them, like now. But we'll play that clip here in a minute. So yeah, they. I don't know. I just think that I think there's a lot of stuff cooking. Do we think we'll hear things at the June showcase? I think we're going to hear something about a possibility of the handheld, maybe, because that seems like it's something they can get out faster, easier. Because if the handheld is close in power to what the Series S is, then that's phenomenal. That would be great. And if it can already reach that level of, game quality, from a handheld,
Yeah.
then that's win-win. And they don't have to go back to the board. They don't have to go back and redo anything. They just set it to the quote unquote S settings for mobile. You know, maybe it does have a few other little tweaks, but who knows? We don't know. It's technology. Battery life is, every couple of months, it seems to be able to increase further and further. They're able to get more out of batteries. And by the time it actually comes out, maybe they'll have that. Will they do some other things? Will you be able to take your card that you have now, your proprietary memory card, and use it in a handheld? Or will they make it the option where you can get a high-end, high-powerful, SSD extreme, read write capabilities SSD card that might be able to work only on the handheld version for certain things? I don't know. There's always possibilities, or it could even come pre-packed with a nice, 1 gig a stick already, already on there, and you just do what you have to do with the S now, which is basically, do I love having everything there? Like I've got, extra memory card on my X, and I love having just looking at my whole collection's right there. But on my S and the other room, it's like I have like 10, 15 games, and that's all I have on there. And if I want something on it, set it to download and go do something else, and come back when it's ready to play it. Or some games halfway through the download, they're ready to start playing, and you're able to do that. Or so, and I just, something else is like, well, it's already there. It's either in Game Pass or I already own it, so I can delete it now and then just re-download when I'm ready to play again. So those are options. Is it kind of an inconvenience? Maybe, but it's not impossible to do, or it's not like a big chore to maintain your memory. It's just a matter of some people like to do it. So let's read Sapo's comment, and she's got another one up here I'd like to read too.
But their tech off the shelf, it will be RDNA 4. I was hoping for ARM with a robust translation layer, to be honest. Designed specifically Xbox needs. I can take both DX12 and Vulkan. But I'm honestly, the current consoles, but in all honesty, I guess the current console still has more potential. Support for the current gen is going to last another 5 to 6 years. Yeah, it will.
Yes,
they're not,
for sure.
like, people are still on the Xbox One. So, and it's being supported, right? So, yeah, it's going to be there for a while. The Xbox One is 2013, right? So it's now 2025, 12 years later. It's still running, right? So, yeah. Legendary Yobi, they didn't kind of announce it. They announced it. I'm sure they will aim for 29, 25, 2025 holiday. Yeah, for Switch 2. Yeah, they did. And like, but they, did they give a time frame? I think they just said it's coming. So plus, I believe before 2025 is over, Switch on sale will pass 160. I hope so. I want to see it beat that PlayStation 2. Yeah, it would be awesome if Switch can do that. But look, I agree with you. I think it is coming out this year. I hope. But it is not confirmed, right? So until it is confirmed, I will.
We're talking about the handheld, right?
We're talking about the Switch 2. The Switch 2.
Oh, Switch 2. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So they have a showcase coming in April, and we will know the release date. My expectation is it's this year. I hope so. I am very much looking forward to it. There's hopefully a huge launch lineup. So I am very much looking forward. I hope it is this year. But until it's confirmed, I will reserve judgment. Because we know all things happen. All sorts of things can happen. But yeah, so hopefully that's coming out this year. Which is just crazy. We have so many games on this side, on the Xbox side, and then we're gonna have a whole freaking new console, all the excitement that goes with it, and a whole launch library of games. It's gonna be awesome. But either way, what we get this, is 2026 gonna be the year for the next Xbox. We will find out GDC next week. When's that coming up? It's coming up, right?
Very soon.
And there's supposedly stuff being announced there. We will see what that is, right? We will see what they're going to announce. And then from there, we will see what happens next. Are they going to have partners making devices? Is it going to be just a Windows extension? Is it going to be an Xbox that's partnered? We will see what they do, right? There's going to be all sorts of potential options here, right? They said, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, maybe that's the whole point of this, is to start creating partnerships to not just say it's going to be Microsoft's Xbox, but it's going to be other people's Xbox as well.
Yep.
And that would be another fantastic thing if that happens, just changing the landscape entirely. We shall see. We shall see. Very exciting times.
True. So true. Got a super chat here from Bunty.
Bunty, $2. Welcome back, Hargeet. Enough respect, brother. Thanks, man.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you, Bunty, for being here. We really appreciate you guys. So many great members of the community that are here. We're probably gonna wrap things up a little early tonight because I'm obviously, you can tell I'm not home. I'm remote. And Hargeet's had a big week of coming back on shows, which we greatly appreciate that. And I don't want to burn him out because we need him for next week. But yeah, so let's I'm gonna pull this real quick. Let me find where I stuck it. Bear with me. Oh, here it is. Here we go. I want to get it loaded first. All right. So now I got it there, so it should load. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm not at home, so I don't have the normal setup with multiple computers and stuff. And my little MacBook Air is not exactly as powerful as my home console by any means. So let's share screen. There we go. So, Digital Foundry. Let's see, was basically talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro sales are slowing down. And a lot of ponies don't want to hear it, but we're going to listen to it now. It's only 20 seconds long and go from there.
The average consumer maybe just isn't going to appreciate or care about that stuff. And in some cases, the differences are so small that you really have to like capture the footage, take it into Premiere, and it's hard to appreciate, like, is this actually that much better? Is it even really better at all? And sometimes it's actually worse. The average consumer maybe just isn't going to appreciate.
Hargeet, your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, we've been seeing this. I mean, there is a difference. I'm not going to take it away from them. There is a difference. But it's going to be hard to notice. We're already at a point where, like, even looking at the Series X, even though it does perform a little bit better than the PS5, it's marginal. You're not going to really see it that much, right? It was very apparent when it was PS4 Pro to Xbox One X. There was a substantial step up, right? You could see it. In a lot of games, it was pretty clear. Unfortunately, we're kind of at a diminishing returns point. However, there are games where it does show, and to be fair, right, there's going to be some areas. I think is which one was it? Forza Horizon 5 has like some ray tracing capabilities that are going to be available on the PS5 Pro. Is that right? I don't recall the exacts, but there's something like that, right?
Right.
Fair enough. So PS5 Pro gives you a little bit of an advantage there. Other games might do the same thing. It might be ray reconstruction. They can use that as part of PISA or something like that. Fine, go for it. Right? If they have capabilities there that can make it work with a little bit of advanced tech that's built into the PlayStation 5 Pro, why not? Right? Go ahead. But it's not going to be something that's going to like substantially change the game. We were looking at PS5 to PS5 Pro, like the shots that they had, and we're like zooming in to see where's the difference here.
Right.
And sometimes you're like, the PS5 looks better. Like, and it just, right. And you're like, what is so, but sometimes it's gonna show. And so, but that is the thing. If it's not consistently there, the consumer has to say $700 though, man. I don't know, $700. Do I need to spend $700? Especially when there are other things like, groceries to buy. It's like, do you need to spend that unless there's a substantial gain, right? So it's tough to justify. Now, next gen's going to have the same problem. They're going to have to showcase something that's going to say, this is why you want it. And it's not going to be graphics. It might show some better graphics. It's probably going to be more features, right? The games can do this that they can't do before. That's probably where it's going to be, where you want to say, this is why you would want the next gen, right? So we will see what happens, because this like step up in graphics it's getting tougher and tougher to justify, right? Even if you have like a 4080 and you're like, do I want to buy a 5080? It's like, the step up isn't that big. It's not worth the money. And you're like, so, and that's at a very high level to an even higher level. But it's just hard to justify right now because we're at a level where the graphics are just fantastic as is, and the consoles are doing great as is. Can they do more? Sure, they can, right? But it's not going to show with the minor upgrades that you get with PS5 to PS5 Pro. But there are some. I just want to be fair. There are some. It's not like it's a zero-sum game. There are some games that are going to show a bit better. If that's enough for you to spend $700, by all means, go ahead and spend the $700. But I think the average gamer is not going to see it, right? Because you want to see like the substantial difference. It's just not there. It's very hard to see. You have to kind of feel it, right? Play it and feel it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I guess the big step away for me is that for $200 more, are you getting the value of $200 more?
That's the
Is
problem.
it that much better? And it doesn't come with the disk drive for the $200 more. So what's the point?
Or a stand.
Right, or stand. Yeah, exactly. Like a little paper clip. But yeah, so Clippy. But it just doesn't make any sense, Hargeet. It just doesn't. But hey, there's people out there that love it, swear by it, love it. Some people even some Reforge bought 2 of them. Okay. Cool.
More power to them. Whatever.
Exactly.
Fine. Go spend your money.
Feed the beast. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. More power to you. I like whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't complain when somebody does that. I bought a 4090. You don't need a 4090.
Right.
You get a 4070, a 4070 Super, 4080, and you would have plenty of overhead to play all the games that you want to play. But I'm like, I can spend the money. I'm gonna buy that 4090. So it is what it is, right?
Exactly. It is that it's all depends on what you want to do and what you want to how you want to spend your money, and I get it. And I mean, I have a PlayStation 5. I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. I don't play it. Haven't played it in a long time. Still every now and again I go in and get the updates. Now I don't even have their service anymore. I let that lapse this last time because I just didn't. I downloaded all my saves to the hard drive that I wanted, so that I wouldn't lose them in the cloud, kind of thing. But that's kind of an ordeal to do, but you can do it. But if you don't do it and you forget about it,
because I'm not doing a PlayStation anymore.
So,
but same thing. I gave up. I hate the fact that they put it behind a freaking paywall, right? I have my 360 saves. Even if I don't pay for Xbox Live, I still have my 360 saves.
Yep.
They're in the cloud permanently. I just have them there. And anytime I freaking decide I want to play the game, I just put the disc in or I download the game because I own it and I can just get my saves. I don't have to have a paywall with it. It's so fantastic, right? It's the same as Steam, by the way. You just download your game, play it. All the saves just come with it. It just doesn't, and they don't charge you for it. It's just there, right? It's like, it's so convenient. You just don't even think about it, right? Whereas there, you have to think about it. It's like, oh gosh, dang it.
Yeah.
It's the same with Nintendo, by the way. You have to pay for freaking cloud saves. Ridiculous.
It's crazy. You're right. But they're milking it too, as it were. But yeah, the buy-in rate, it's like $30 for the whole year. It's a little better.
I know, it is very cheap. It is very cheap.
Yeah. So and I do like that. So to me, that's worth it.
And it's family, right? You can get it for
do the family plan. Yep. Yeah, you get it for seven different accounts on one.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
Why not?
Yep. So yeah. But guys, thank you all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate you guys being here. We are going to wrap things up right now. Normally we go a little longer, and next week I promise you we're going to have a nice, good old long show because I don't have to be up early the next day. So I'm going to be a good one. Who knows? We may get some extra panel members next week to have even more fun. And I have a feeling that we might get a little teaser taste of some information coming out later in the week. So this weekend coming up could be fun. Could be fun. Exactly. Maybe we'll see. But Hargeet, please tell everybody where they can reach out to you, where they can find you on Discord, and about your wonderful book that you have available.
So Discord, it's H Chani. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hargeet Chani 1 on YouTube, you want to pick up my book, shop.chani.us, check it out. And then next up it's with WebDave, right? WebDave, so with Boom, Double Barrel Gaming, who is here. Before 10, 15 minutes ago he left or whatever. But yeah, so on Wednesday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time, Double Barrel Gaming is a channel. Check that out. I don't know what's happening as far as C Benny and Doodle. They have some weekend plans, so we're not sure what day we might do a show. We usually do Friday nights. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, so we'll find out. So maybe sometime this week, and then back with Fonz on Saturday, 6 p.m. US Eastern Time on Fonz Gaming, and then back here with WebDave. We'll be doing our normal, as you just mentioned, 7 p.m. US Eastern on WebDave's channel. So check that out.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So yeah, but do make sure you pick up his book. I even got the autograph version. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I still got to do that.
Have you read it? Have you read the whole thing?
I've read half of it. I haven't got through the whole thing yet, but I will. I'm one of those slow readers, but that's what
liking it so far. Hopefully, hopefully it doesn't bore you.
Yes. No, I do like it a lot. It's one of those things where it's like I want to take the whole book, put it in like chat reader thing, and have some the whatever guy was the movie reader guy from in the world, but read your whole book. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the audiobook thing.
yeah, exactly. I just pick on audiobooks because I have a slight dyslexic, so sometimes it's just easier to listen to a book than it is to read it. And yes, I can read. I haven't got that Detroit education like Dirt has. I'm just kidding. I love Dirt. He makes fun of it all the time. I'm kidding. But seriously, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. Red Wolf, I saw you jumped in there at the end. Thank you so much for being here. And Timmy, Spartan, P Lump, all the people that are in the chat. So many great members of the community. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you being here. And we'll be back next week with another show of the Gamers Council. And that is the fact, Jack. Thanks for joining us here on the Gamers Council.
Game over. Game over.